Some people feel most alive in the quiet corners of their own homes. They don't crave crowded streets or the spotlight. They find comfort in familiar walls, warm routines, and the gentle sound of stillness. To the outside world, it can look like they're avoiding life, but in reality, they're living it differently, intentionally, quietly, and deeply. They're not running away from the world. They're running toward peace. Psychologists often describe this preference as having a highly active internal world. Research suggests that people who enjoy spending time at home often process emotions deeply, imagine vividly, and reflect naturally. Their minds remain active even when their surroundings feel calm. Home isn't an escape. It's a place where their inner world can breathe. These individuals don't rely on loud excitement to feel joy. A warm drink, a favorite corner, or a quiet morning can bring them a sense of fulfillment that others search for in distant places. Their hearts don't beat faster in crowds. They beat steadily in silence. But here's something many people don't realize. It wasn't always this way. A lot of us once tried to match the world's speed. Social plans, constant movement, loud environments. And somewhere in that race, we learned something important. Our calm wasn't a flaw. Our solitude wasn't a weakness. It was simply who we were. I remember the moment this clicked for me. I thought staying home would make me feel left out or forgotten. Instead, I felt understood by my space, by my thoughts, by my own company. I realized I didn't need applause to feel seen. The quiet felt honest, comforting, and real. Peace wasn't something I hid in. It was a way of living. People who love being home often share one powerful trait: introspection. They think deeply. They observe quietly. Small moments turn into meaning. Emotions turn into insight. Studies consistently show that people who value solitude tend to score higher in creativity, empathy, and emotional understanding. Their quiet isn't emptiness, it's depth. Even when the world doesn't always understand them, they understand themselves. Yet society often mislabels them. You're missing out. You should socialize more. Don't you get bored? These comments sting, not because they're true, but because they assume that joy must be loud to be real. But history proves otherwise. Many thinkers, artists, and innovators found their greatest clarity in silence. They didn't need crowds. They needed space. Silence teaches patience. It sharpens observation. It builds a quiet kind of strength, the kind that grows without needing attention. But here's a more honest question. If home feels so safe, what are people protecting themselves from? Sometimes it's overstimulation, light, noise, and unpredictability. These can overwhelm sensitive or emotionally attuned people. Their nervous system seeks environments that feel steady. Home gives them control, and control gives them peace. Sometimes it's trust. People who love staying home tend to love deeply and selectively. They open up slowly, not because they don't care, but because they care intensely. Emotional safety matters to them. And sometimes it's simply preference, nothing more. Not fear, not avoidance. Just a genuine love for familiar spaces, inner calm, and meaningful quiet. Their hobbies reflect this: reading, gaming, writing, painting, cooking, watching films, and building personal worlds. Their joy isn't loud, it's intentional. They measure happiness in moments, not events. Here's a quiet truth many home-loving people never say out loud. They notice everything. They care deeply. And when distractions fade, the heart learns how to focus. If you're someone who loves staying home, you might have questioned yourself at some point. You might have wondered if something was wrong with you. But what if nothing is wrong? What if the world simply moves too fast to notice the people who move more thoughtfully? Let me shift from describing these people to speaking as one of them. I used to think staying home meant the world would forget me. But my mind was blooming in the quiet. Ideas took root. Thoughts became gardens. Silence became a companion. And home, well, home became a state of mind. Maybe you relate. Maybe you've always felt different. Maybe your peace feels louder than any party. Your solitude isn't empty, it's powerful. Psychologists often point to a few common patterns among people who love home. 1. Emotional energy management. It isn't strictly about introversion. Even extroverts can crave the steadiness of home. The real issue is where emotional energy is drained or restored. 2. Trust and vulnerability. Home-loving people open up deeply, but only with the people who feel emotionally safe. 3. Complex inner life. Quiet allows creativity to flourish. Routine becomes ritual. Presence becomes purpose. 4. Environmental control. They know their triggers and sensitivities. Home gives them the ability to regulate, something mental health studies often highlight as essential for emotional well-being. But here's the most vulnerable truth. Some people prefer home because at some point, the world disappointed them. A friendship broke, a trust was betrayed, their emotions were too heavy for someone else to hold. So they built a space where they didn't have to apologize for feeling deeply. If you've ever stayed home because the world felt too heavy, you're not alone. You're protecting your peace, and that is emotional wisdom. Yet loving home doesn't mean you don't dream. Your aspirations aren't small, they're internal. You don't need a room full of applause. You need one person who understands you. Your home is where meaning grows quietly. Some days, you watch the world rush by outside, cars speeding, crowds moving, urgency everywhere. And you smile because you know your real treasure is inside. Society glorifies hustle. It treats rest like laziness, stillness like failure. But rest is part of growth. Stillness is clarity. Silence is understanding. Your life isn't paused when you stay home. You are observing, healing, becoming. And because you feel deeply, you love deeply. Your relationships, though few, are authentic. You notice the pauses, the unspoken feelings, the quiet signals most people miss. One beautiful trait homebodies often share is self-companionship. They don't fear their own thoughts. They can sit with themselves and still feel whole. That isn't loneliness, that's emotional maturity. So let me speak to you directly. You are not strange for loving home. You are not unambitious. You are not avoiding life. You are living it with intention. And one day, when the world feels gentler, you'll step outside. Not because you have to, but because you choose to. Until then, drink your coffee slowly. Protect your peace. Explore your inner world. Love quietly, but deeply. Because people who love staying home are often the ones who make the world feel like home.